Hey everyone, welcome to the user group. Today we are going to talk about the XM Cloud 101. This is a beginner's guide. This is for us to explore the XM Cloud. So that's why we started with the beginner's guide, which we are going to talk about so many things. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome. I'm Bala. I'm a Sitecore Technology MVP 4 times, and I'm also a practice director at CEI. And you can follow me in the handle Bala1, and I have a website Bala.1.
Thank you, Bala. Here I am, Madhu Anbaragan. I'm a Sitecore MVP for the last 5 years, and I work as an independent consultant. Here are the handles to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any contractors, looking for contractors or projects or any type of help. Thank you. Let's dive into what we are going to look into it today. So we are going to look into it like what is XM Cloud and what is XM Cloud Plus, because last year in SARCon, they have announced it as XM Cloud Plus. So we are going to see the differences, what basically XM Cloud is and Plus is, and why we need to choose the XM Cloud and its terminology, limitations, how is the developer experience, how do we transition from XP to XM or XM Cloud, from a monolithic to headless, all the transition path, and the training and the certification, what are the trainings that are available, how much does it cost to take the certification, coupon codes, everything. And at the end, we are going to dive into the demo where we are going to show the XM Cloud site. We are going to create the site, create the pages. We are going to walk you through each and every step of it. At the end of the session, I hope you'll have an idea of how it looks like, and how do we create the pages. I'm sure it should be like somewhere it should be useful. Let's dive into it. So what is XM Cloud? It's been going viral since last year because Sitecore has decided to go for the SaaS platform, software as a service, because we don't want it to deal with the upgrades. It's auto updates. Everything is coming from the cloud. So no more upgrades. That's the major advantage of it. And headless is already there in XM. In XM, like you can use the headless CMS as well, but in the XM Cloud, it's all integrated. It's you can't go for a monolithic XP. It's only XM with headless, and we have experience editor, page editor, SXA headless. The front end as a service, whether you can go for Next.js SDK or Vue or Angular or React, anything you would like. And the experience edge, obviously, because we need to push the code to the experience edge. We'll talk about more in the detail in the future slides. And this addresses the marketers and developers, because before we used to have one monolithic XP, which is like tightly coupled with all the components. But with the modern headless, we have everything is separated like XP. On top of it, if you need personalization, we can add CDP. If you need search, we can add search. We have lots of components, which we are going to talk about in the slides. This is all about XM Cloud. And now we'll see like what's the difference between XM Cloud and the XM Cloud Plus, because the Plus is now released. Here is a simple architecture as well. So as you can see, the first rectangular, the purple one, is a managed cloud. Whether you can go for the Sitecore managed cloud or you can go for your own cloud. It depends upon like how you want it to integrate. But if you go for a Sitecore managed cloud, it comes with the DevOps. So we don't need to worry about the site up and down and Azure, like everything is built in, all the DevOps is built in. And we have the XM Cloud. When we publish, so basically if you see the arrow here, when you publish in XP or XM in traditional environments, we have the master database and the web database. So when we publish, it basically goes into the web database. And here in XM Cloud, there is no web database. Everything we publish is to publish to the edge. because it's headless, it's cloud. So we are publishing everything to the cloud. So basically only the master database, no web database, everything goes to edge. From the edge, the front end, the CD server, actually, we get the data through the GraphQL, and then the components are built in Next.js or React or Vue, Angular, like whatever you can choose. So basically, the front end hosting will get the data through the GraphQL, and it's completely seamless. There is no delay or anything. It's fast, speed, like it's seamless. Basically. So this is the simple architecture. There is more detailed one upcoming. Bala will be explaining more in detail. So this is the simple architecture, and let's dive into what is XM Cloud and the plus. So basically XM Cloud has limited personalization, limited search, limited personalize as well, and connect. So there is a detailed table coming up because XM Cloud also has the capabilities, but it's very limited. But if you need the full extension of it, it's called XM Cloud Plus, which comes with search, connect, CDP, and personalize. So if you need a full-fledged one, basically XM Cloud Plus is nothing but a XP. If you only go for an XM Cloud, all the content authoring, everything will be there. All the extra ones, all the search, personalize, analyze, all that stuff is very limited. We will be talking about it in a detailed format. Here it is. It took us some time to come up with this table because Sitecore has been newly releasing the features and additionally adding functionalities on a day-to-day basis. So it took us really some time to figure out each and everything to what is what. So it looks simple, but this is the capabilities as of now. So in XM Cloud, there is no search, but with XM Cloud Plus, it comes with it. Analytics, it's only stays for 30 days. And in XM Cloud Plus, it's unlimited with CDP. And the third-party integrations, there is no third-party integrations in XM Cloud, but where in XM Cloud Plus, we have the connect. So through the connect, we can connect to any third-party APIs, any functionalities we can connect through the connect portal. And personalization, yes, it's there, but it's very basic. We are going to show the personalization, what's there in the XM Cloud. We have the licensing for the XM Cloud. Obviously, with Plus, you'll have the full-fledged functionality. And forms, it's been recently added. It's been a week or 10 days. So it's available in both XM Cloud and XM Cloud Plus. So hope this gives an idea of what is an XM Cloud and what is an XM Cloud Plus. And why do we choose the XM Cloud? Because we have lots of flexibility and the speed. It has a flexible pricing. It's based on the traffic, and it has the interoperability, which means you can connect to the third-party APIs. The speed to market, because it's everything is on Azure. It's the site uptime is 99.9999%, and we know that it's proven. Azure is proven system, and we don't need to worry about site down or any of that stuff. And it's on cloud, and we can scale up, scale down based on the traffic, based on how the site performs. So it's very flexible based on that. You can scale up and down within minutes, and flexible pricing as well, because it's based on the traffic, not based on how many sites or any of the other things. It's purely based on traffic. So with this, I'll transfer to Balaji for the future slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. So let's dive into the features. The main advantage of having XM Cloud is having automatic updates. So we are not going to look into upgrades. And I believe last year they had close to 24 deployments. Pretty much like every other week, they were deploying updates to XM Cloud. So it's pretty up to date. Like if there is any bugs or anything, they're adding continuous features. even like a couple of weeks back, they added the forms component within XM Cloud. So it just like the next day morning, I was able to use it right away. So there is no upgrades, nothing. Everything is automatically pushed to all the clients, and without even we noticing that things are being pushed out. The second one is scalable infrastructure. Since it's on cloud and it's all hosted in Azure, if there is something like a Black Friday kind of a sale and you want to scale your environment, just let Sitecore know, and they'd be able to scale it during that period. And then you only pay for certain time and you're not paying for the entire thing. You don't have to keep it always scaled. The page speed and performance are pretty good because Experience Edge is nothing but a kind of a CDN. So your data is spread across multiple endpoints. So you're not talking about how many CDs I have. It's all in CDN, and it's much closer to the end users. Next generation visual authoring. So in the past, we used to have content editor and experience editor. So now we have pages, which is the next generation editing. We could use that. Dynamic personalization. So basic features, you could consider like from XM, like you have the basic personalization part of your XM Cloud. And then if you need advanced personalization. So basically on the platform, you can do certain personalization. But if you want in-depth personalization, then you can opt in for personalized or CDP. And then you can get onto the personalized platform, and then you can have much more customizations. So you do have built-in analytics that is at the site level and page insights. So with XM Cloud, you would get like almost 30 days of data. But if you need more unlimited, then you can opt in for XM Cloud Plus. Internally, it is using personalized and CDP platform. So even in future, you start with XM Cloud, but you think like I need more data, you can talk to your sales rep and get those products enabled so you can have access to the data. So it also comes with the built-in DevOps. So all your build pipelines, everything is already pre-set up when you get the environment, so you don't have to worry about that. As long as you check in the code, push your code, and then automatically the build gets deployed, or you can gatekeep and deploy it yourself. Like like I talked before, global content delivery with Experience Edge. Its Experience Edge is nothing but a CDN with more additional functionalities that is branded as Experience Edge by Sitecore.
Vala?
Yeah.
Vala, this is about DevOps question. So when we say it has all the CI/CD pipeline, so does it also have we have a capability for maintaining a branches? Which branch you want?
We still have those branches and everything. And you can choose which branch should go to which environment kind of thing. So you still have like, it's again, like you'll have like a GitHub, or you can even use Azure DevOps. You will still have all the branching strategies where you can say a develop branch goes to the dev environment, and then you have a release branch that goes to QA, and then the other branch, you can promote it to prod. So it's still the same. But what I meant by that is like, it's all already built in the platform. So they will give you everything. You can choose which branch to which environment.
Hey, Bali.
Yeah.
At one time, I had heard that CDP wasn't HIPAA compliant. Have they fixed that yet?
So the HIPAA compliance, to my knowledge, they are getting the HIPAA compliance for CDP and personalized, but mid of this year.
You say mid-year?
Mid-year, like mid 2024, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is work in progress, and that's been the highest priority for Sitecore. They've been working on that, and once that is completed, obviously the next one is XM Cloud. Yeah, let's keep that going. Like I like asking
Balaji.
questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a very basic level. Like there are two terms, right? Managed cloud and XM cloud. What's the main difference here?
So specifically, managed cloud is a Azure-based hosting. So there are two different products. So if you have XM or XP, you can opt in for managed cloud. So where managed cloud is, Sitecore is going to host it in their Azure environment and give you access to that platform. So basic alerting and everything, Sitecore will manage it for you. That's why it is called as managed cloud.
Is it a SaaS? I don't think so,
It
right?
is not a SaaS, no.
Okay.
So
Okay.
XM Cloud is a SaaS product. Managed cloud is more like a hosting service provided by Sitecore.
It's a pass.
So certain
pass.
clients, it's a pass. Yeah, exactly. It is a pass. Certain clients don't have an infra team to maintain it, so they would opt in for that.
But how come these two would combine? Because in the earlier screenshot, which I think Madhu was sharing, these two are mentioned. Managed cloud was there, also XM cloud was also there. How these two will interact?
No, it will not. It's more like an image from the Sitecore
Okay.
documentation. But when they say manage, that this is like a managed XM cloud. They are managing the whole cloud. But that,
Oh, okay.
like, you're right, exactly. That's a good point. But they are two different terms and they are not connected.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks for asking, and that's a clarity for others as well.
Hey, have you guys heard anything whether or not there's going to be an end of life for XP?
No, I don't think so at the moment. But there are future versions that are being planned. That's all I
Yeah, I
could say.
think they are not going to end, is what I heard.
Yeah, they're not
So-
ending it, and also I know the upcoming, there are like at least future versions are in plans. Okay, I will get into licensing. So licensing specifically, there are a lot of difference. If you have dealt with XP and XM, typically they go with traffic, which is they used to have number of servers, like number of CD servers, number of content authors, that kind of licensing used to be there. And then they moved into traffic-based licensing. And XM Cloud is no different. They're going with traffic. There are no more custom domain limits. Earlier, it used to be like how many domains are being hosted, how many CD servers, and a lot of things are taken away. So you can have a number of domains, which is a lot of things, like a lot of clients had issues with that. So that's more welcome. And then it's going to be project-based. We will talk in detail about what is project. And edge bandwidth, typically with most of the plans, 1 terabyte per month per project is what they're allocating. So if you need more, you can buy, but this is like the nominal one. Edge storage is more like a cache on your edge when you're publishing certain things. So that starts at like 5 GB, and if you need more, you can buy more. Concurrent authors limit is still there. So you could go for like 10 authors or 20 authors or whatever, like that also counts against your licensing. Vercel or Netlify can be used for your head, or even you can use Azure for your head hosting. And you don't want to deal with different vendors. Sitecore has made it easier. So you can do a bundled price, saying like, I would like to have Vercel as well. So they can bundle it within your, and you can get like one bill that you're not dealing with different vendors. And with the support, as you know, there is like standard and premium support, either one you can choose.
And Balaji, one more
Balaji,
question.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, fine, go ahead.
So, since it's a SaaS-based implementation, XM Cloud and XM Cloud Plus, right? So, let's say if we want to add search, if we want to add a personalize. So, how licensing will work? It will work based on the product, or it's like the whole package, like XM Cloud, it includes everything. XM Cloud Plus, it includes everything. How the licensing works?
So the licensing would work like if you are opting for instance, I need CDP, personalized search and everything, then you can go for an XM Cloud Plus, which might be a bit pricey. Like you said, if I don't want everything, I just want the search, then they will be just pricing only for the search additional to your XM Cloud.
Okay.
It's not going to be like, if it's like, again, it's all composable stack now. Pick what you need. So you're not paying like the monolith cost.
Okay. And the edge which we are discussing now, it's totally replacing the CDN, or CDN
It is
also will be
replacing
there.
CD
Replacing.
server.
CD or CDN? CD
No,
server.
not CDN, it is CD server. So just for
Okay.
your understanding, whenever there is a master database, when we publish, you will have a web, right? Typically when you publish, you will have a web option. So rather that, it will be more like an edge kind of thing. So you push, when you publish, it's going to push that to edge, which is again a CDN only. Earlier, we
I
used to have CD server plus CDN. So all your
Yes.
images will live in CDN for better performance. And
Right.
CD server will have all your pages, content rendering, and all those data. So that is gone now. That's why they call it as Edge, because it is not just CDN. It has additional functionalities. That's why it's called as Edge.
So it's again a Sitecore product only, right?
It is a Sitecore product. Internally, it is just a CDN, but it has more functionality. It is not just used for your image transmission or something, but it can hold data and it can hold your rendering information and all those details.
So there is no external CDN is required if we have Edge.
No, it is not needed anymore. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's all bundled into your Edge. And even when you bring in Versal, like when Madhu was showing the image, Versal would be pulling the data from Edge, all your layout service. If you're aware of headless, everything is JSON data that gets transmitted. So basically your Edge is going to capture all your JSON data with all your renderings. And then eventually that's getting back to your Next.js application.
But the CDN, the Versal will sit on top of Edge, right? I mean,
Yes.
the Versal would get, in that case, the CDN would be needed if we get the request from the user.
Versal itself is a CDN, right?
Okay. That is why we don't need a CDN.
Yeah, you
It's
don't
not
need it.
because of Edge.
So if you're doing, if you're doing Versal or Netlify, they themselves are CDN only.
Okay.
So all your data lives in Edge, and it pulls the data from Edge, and then eventually it lives in Versal, which is again a CDN. So that's the reason you wouldn't need like a separate CDN.
Okay. So basically the CDN activity, even the Edge and the hosting platform, both are actually doing it, right?
Yes.
It's not only Edge. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, even I was
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, even I was also asking about that CDN part, because normally we use Akamai CDN, but I think in this case, yeah, Akamai have lots of its other feature, but I think all those now has been taken care by might be Versal and Netlify, because they brought their own CDN, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to have Akamai, and we used to have
Yeah.
Azure CDN for images and stuff like that for the media library. But you don't need that anymore, like, because Edge is there, or the Versal or Netlify. Even if you host it in Azure as your head, you can still, Edge will act as your CDN.
Yeah, I think these Akamai CDN, they are since been a long time so powerful, like other feature.
You will have additional
get
features. I don't disagree, but this will get the job done. Let's put it that way.
Like basic, I think they will do DDoS attack or SQL injection or access. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So basically, where GraphQL sits in this architecture,
Edge.
GraphQL part, it sits in Edge.
Yeah.
So from Edge, it pulls the data from the master database. That's what the GraphQL does, right?
So from the publishing aspect, anyway, I'll go through that in the upcoming diagram.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'll show the diagram and we'll walk through it.
No problem.
Yeah. From the terminology aspect, these are the ones related to XM Cloud. They call it as organization. Like organization can be the company level, like your subscription is your organization, and then project is where you will, for example, you were having a global company, one car manufacturer, and then the other one is like a different retail business. Then your car manufacturing will be a project. And below that, you will have multiple environments. Environments is nothing but your dev, stage, and prod. So you can have multiple environments. And then experience edge we did talk through. Pages is the new experience editor or the new visual authoring experience. Component builder is something where you can on the fly build some certain components on the platform. So you're not seeking for a developer assistance where you need to build everything in Next.js deployed to get your component working. So some basic level components, you can directly build it on the platform. Personalize, you can do personalization, but like we discussed before, a basic personalization is only possible with XM Cloud. But if you need advanced, then you need to use the personalized package. Sites and page insights is nothing but analytics, which is done at the site level and also at the page level, you can do that. These are the basic terminology. Let's look into the limitations. What are we missing? We talked this before. There is no more CD. An identity server is also not needed because they have OAuth, so you could use, and that's something recently they announced, where you can connect it with your AD, Azure AD or something like that, or Okta, and then directly you can use that authentication. Publishing will compute dependency. This is a little bit complex topic that we need to talk through. Whenever you are publishing from your master database, typically in the past, the page or the item that you are publishing, for example, let's take an example of a page having a hero banner image. Banner image is another data item. So if I change that item and publish it, whenever somebody is visiting the home page, they will automatically see that change. That's our typical XM way. But whenever you're doing the same thing in XM Cloud, you're thinking, okay, I'm just updating the data item, which is like a hero image only I'm updating. But when you go to the home page, it will not show that change. The main reason being, in Experience Edge, what it does is whenever a page is being published, it computes all its dependencies at that point of time. And then it takes a snapshot of that, and then it saves it with the page information. So when I'm visiting the home page, although you have changed your homepage hero banner image, the Edge wouldn't know that. Edge is not on the fly going and saying in them, okay, let me look in the database and what is this, and doing an automatic computancy at that point of time. Does that make sense? Okay.
I mean, I'm not clear. Because anyway, we are publishing it, right? It should be available on CDN. I mean,
It won't. That's the difference I'm saying. When you are publishing a page, so for the page and hero example, when you're publishing the image, that goes as a separate item, but it doesn't know that this image is being used in the home page.
Okay.
Whenever the home page, so whenever you're changing the image, you also need to publish the wherever it is being used.
Okay, because it's taking the snapshot. That's the reason.
Because it is taking a snapshot at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason that is like, this also slows down the process. When you're publishing, it's not like instant, like what we used to do with the master web database. Because you're the computance, like the dependencies are all computed on the fly when you're visiting on an on-prem XM or XP. And the same way, when I'm publishing a page, it's doing all the computancy of, okay, what are my dependencies for this page, this image, this. So it's doing all that on the fly. So it's slow. And the other thing is sometimes it'll be all publishing nightmare for the authors. Because I changed the image, why is it not showing? So we need to understand that Edge works differently. It doesn't work like your regular CD.
Okay.
And the main reason is they want to take the snapshot. That's how it is being spread through the CDNs. So every CDN has a copy of it and it's faster.
So along with the image, we have to publish all of those pages then?
It will automatically do. Whenever you're publishing, it's going to compute all the dependencies and it is going to publish everything or take a snapshot of that and publish it. So it's going to take time, but we need to understand this is more like a change from our thought process.
Okay.
Third, it doesn't have search. So there is no Solar or nothing that we could use. So you have to depend on an external service to make use of search. Or you can use the GraphQL search.
There is a search product, right? As a SaaS, can't we use that?
Yes.
Or
yes.
That's a different one.
What I'm saying, like XM, like in your XP or XM, you used to have Solar inbuilt. So if you don't want to use products like search tags or Coveo or Sitecore search, you could still use Solar to do your basic search.
Right.
But in this, there is nothing like that. You cannot use anything.
Okay.
So you would be depending on GraphQL because GraphQL has built-in search, but that's not like a straightforward thing to use, I would say. And GraphQL endpoints has its own limits. Like you cannot hit a GraphQL endpoint. There is like a request number limits within a period of time and things like that. You will not run into those problems for a smaller projects, but something to be aware of.
Because then this limitation is basically for XM Cloud, not XM
This
Cloud
is for
Plus,
XM
right?
Cloud, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So limited personalization data, like I said, it has only 30 days of data. So it will not have the full-fledged data unless if you're going for an XM Cloud or something like that. And there is no more modules. So there is no more concept of, let me install a package of, for example, if you are using Coveo, you would have a Coveo package that you would go ahead and install and use it. So that's not possible with XM Cloud. Content migration. So since we talked before, we don't have DB support, but one of my friends, he used to, they did a migration. They came up with a creative way of doing it, where they where they connected their old database in an XM Cloud local instance, and then eventually they push the data back into cloud. So we'll talk through that. So no more custom pipelines because everything is coming from Edge. It is again a CDN, so you don't have the flexibility of having pipelines and playing with the data. Moving on. This is the diagram we were talking through. So starting from bottom up, you can see that the content authors and marketers, they'd be interacting with Pages, Explorer, sites, and components. That is coming from XM Cloud Content Management Environment, which is the CM. And then whenever the data is being published, that goes to the Sitecore Experience Edge CDN. And then you can see on top of that is where the Vercel or Netlify or any application, they will be pulling directly from the Experience Edge CDN. If you are using search is going to crawl your Vercel site. It's not going to talk to XM Cloud at all. And then the marketers can interact with search and the results are going to be showing up on your head. And all your head related interactions, those data will be coming back to CDP and personalized through the embedded personalization if you're using the XM Cloud Plus. Otherwise, like the basic personalization, it will be coming from XM Cloud. On the left bottom, you see the developers. They'd be interacting with the environment with the CLI and also deploy app, where that will be used for deploying your code into the XM Cloud environment. And when I say code, you're not like pipelines, there are a lot of limitations. But once you get started with the development, you would come to know this is possible and this is not possible. Any questions, any thoughts here?
Do we have any preview environment once we build pages and test before we publish?
There is a preview option that typically they use, more like another Experience Edge specifically given for preview. So yes, yeah, that is possible. It's not that always you need to publish to see your content. Yeah, preview is possible with Experience Edge. Okay,
and is it something like pre-staged website that we can see, or it has to be, you have to go into the XM Cloud and you have to preview the page kind of thing?
That's typically, okay, you're asking like, I have a client who also has the similar thing, more like having a preview database and preview separately. No, I don't think so. Like with XM Cloud, you would be previewing it directly from this. And if you want to have a separate preview, then an experience preview is possible with experiences. That's something recently added. And you can have a separate head and then have a separate URL and other things that can interact with your preview endpoint. That is one way you can tackle that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Developer experience, like I said before, everything is moving to Docker. So for your XM Cloud, there is no exception. You would be needing Docker setup on your local, and then eventually that can connect back to your cloud environment. When I say connect back, it's a real remote connect. So basically, once your local Docker setup is done, then you would be authenticating to your cloud environment. And thereafter, you would be pulling from the cloud environment the Sitecore serialization, and then you would be pushing back the content. And then whenever you do the commits, then obviously that gets directly deployed into XM Cloud. All this is possible using the XM Cloud CLI. And also the deploy app is something that typically they use to do the deployments.
On local, the site will not be in IS, right?
No, so it's going to be
No?
on your container. You will be loading it up. Like I was talking about the previous example of, can I bring my local database? Yeah, you can put your local database and have that connection string lined up and to show in your content tree, and eventually you can serialize and push the data back. That is one way you can push your content up into XM Cloud, rather serializing everything.
Okay, and the code will be in Visual Studio Code?
Code will be in your Visual Studio, and then your Next.js and other things, you can obviously use Visual Studio Code to do that development.
Yeah, solution
but,
will be based on Next.js React, right?
That is correct. Yeah, it's up to you what to choose, but typically Sitecore is moving towards focusing more on Next.js.
Okay.
All the
thanks.
new features and everything is being launched with Next.js.
And there is no .NET code, right? In XM Cloud, there is no .NET because there is no customization, nothing I can see.
You do have some basic stuff, but I wouldn't say entirely off. When I say Visual Studio deployment, it's all like basically your .NET code only. You can push certain things into the XM Cloud. But when we say the head part is all Next.js totally. You still have .NET code. Yeah, you still have .NET code, but it's not a full-blown like XPXM where you can do anything you want.
Okay.
Because it's a SaaS environment, so they have to control and cut down a lot of features.
Yeah.
That's the major advantage. A lot of SaaS platforms, like you take O365 or something, they don't let you deploy anything like SharePoint Online. They will not deploy, like you cannot deploy any .NET code. Basically, they'll say, hey, we are exposing the JSON data, or through the web APIs, you can build your front-end interface like the head, and then you can interact, but you cannot do any deployments. That's the difference in Sitecore. They're still giving you certain things that you can do, but certain things you cannot.
I think it depends like which headless rendering we choose. Actually, if we choose .NET headless rendering SDK, right? I think in that case it will be a .NET solution.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. So the major question everybody thinks is like, what is my transition path looking like? So I'm an XM or XP. What do you think? Like, how should I transition? So the transition path to headless is first thing is there is no more MVC or anything, or no ASP.NET. So you have to be on headless. There is no secondary question. For example, friends at Kaju.ai, that's a product that can help you migrate your MVC components into Next.js components or React on the fly. They did give a nice demo. The video is available on YouTube. You can check that. That could accelerate your transition if you're moving from traditional MVC into headless. But if you're already in headless, that makes your life easier. So certain things like pipelines, a lot of things you need to move away from, how to tackle that. The second one is like Unicorn, or if you're using Unicorn or TDS, then probably you need to move into the new Sitecore serialization, which is the SES. So that is something like you need to transition over to the new one. And then you need to assess all your XP features. So if you're using a lot of XConnect or XDB related things, then probably you need to find a way to remove them. And then eventually you need to plan for like, how do we tackle that? If am I going to miss these features? How do we manage it? You need to plan for all your integrations. For example, if you have a form submit action that is pushing data to an external system, then how am I going to deal with that? And any other integrations. For example, if you have been using Coveo and you had a Coveo package, how do I manage that? You'll not be able to do that. So, so those kind of planning you need to do. And then eventually forms. Sitecore current XP or XM forms cannot be migrated over to XM Cloud. In XM Cloud, the forms functionality is there. That's entirely newly built platform. So you cannot move your existing forms. So you need to come up with a plan. How do I do that? and then eventually you can move to XM Cloud. From the training and certification, I don't want to bore you here. There are instructor-led training, which is really good. So there is one for the business users and there is one for the developers. I personally have taken the developer fundamentals and it's really good. They come with a lot of practical scenarios, so it's not theory. And it's going to be practically talking through how do we do things at each step, end-to-end with the development, deployment and everything. So that's really useful. If you don't have that option, then probably I'd say it's going to cost like 2,500 or 3,500 for a 2-day session, I think. Yeah, it was 2 days, 2 full days. So if you don't want to do that, you can do the self-paced learning courses that's available. And then you can also take the XM Cloud certification, which is also available online. Now it's time for demo. Enough of talking. Madhu, back to you.
Thank you, Balaji. Let me start sharing my screen. Second. Just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, cool. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Cool. Awesome. So here is the XM Cloud portal. So once you log in, this is how it looks. So I have 2 demo sites, but I'll be starting from scratch, from creating the site. So let me start creating the site. So when I start creating the site, you have 2 options. One is an empty site, another is a basic site. Why this is showing up? Because we started the site with an starter kit. So this is publicly available in GitHub, and this is the one. You can basically clone and then tie it up with the GitHub and then deploy it. Once you deploy, you have the basic, like how we have the starter kit for each and every Helix modules and stuff like that. It's basically the same thing for the XM Cloud. So it's free, it's available, you can start exploring. So this has been deployed. So that's why you are seeing the skate park as the basic site, where this has the basic of homepage, subpage, navigation, header and footer. We can either choose this or we can go for empty site. So now I'm just going to go for an empty site. So once you select, you can give an page, site name. So I'm just going to say Pittsburgh SUG, SUG demo. And you can choose a language, and the site identifier is something like you can just set it up. It's an optional one. And once you create the site, it takes 2 minutes to create. So I'm not going to create now. Just created this morning. Just a second. This is the whole portal one, which Balaji will be explaining more. So I'm here in the site collection. So this is how it looks when you go in and as a content author or as a developer, because this will be only for the admin access. But based upon the user, whether you are admin or a business user or a developer, you will have the options to either to log into the whole environment like prod, non-prod and stuff like that. But when you are in content author, here's what you will have based on the permissions. This is nothing about the site collections. So inside that you have multiple sites. So we just created the PGHSUG site. And this was the demo site based on the starter kit. This usually have an image, but I don't know why the image is missing. It looks like all the images from the media library is gone. But this used to give a pretty image of a homepage image or some image. So here is our site. So just click on the image. I mean, pretending that there is an image. So once you click on it, it takes you to the Sitecore pages. This is completely new to the XM Cloud. This is nothing but a pages editor. So this gives a visual impact on the users, like how they can just start the content editing right over here. Same with an image and stuff. Let me create a new page here. So I'm just going to create a new page saying that it's a demo page.
Hey, Madhu,
And
who does Sitecore provide sandboxes to these days for XM Cloud?
So you need to reach out to the partner enablement based on the company you work for. And if you need an individual license as well, you need to pay for a certain amount to get the sandbox. So depending upon the situation, the partner enablement at sitecore.com will give you the access.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. So, so this is the demo page we have created. Basic pages here, but let's add some more components like a title, image, and some creative components. So basically, for the components, we can basically drag and drop the components, like in forms, like in ASP.NET before. So here is the title. So I'm just gonna say welcome, or maybe I'll just say hello, PGHSUG. So here is our title. It's ready to go. It's all saved because it's SaaS. There is no need to save. It's all saved. And so now the title component is already there. Let's add an image or a rich text. Maybe let's add an image. So I'm just dragging drop the image. It takes just a few seconds. So here is our image. Let's add the image. So it gives you all the options of layout, where it needs to be, alignment, center, right. Like once I move it to center, it might move to center. The styling, advanced styling, and all those things. Once you have the styles and stuff, since this is a demo site, it's just going to be basic. So let me add an image. So here I have uploaded the welcome image, or you can upload a media as well. So just choose an image, ready to go, and more properties are here to add more inheritance, lots of options here. It's quite easy to check off and do the stuff. So the image is ready to go. Let's add maybe a rich text. So I'm just going to add a rich text. So rich text is right over here. So we can just add the add the text right here. So I'm just like, welcome to PGHSUG. So we can, content authors can right away add the text, styles, everything over here. So this is our basic page where we have added the title, image, and a rich text. We can add promo component. Promo component needs an data source. So when you drag and drop the promo component, basically it asks for the data source. So once you have the data source set, you can just come and choose here, and the promo component is ready to go. The same here, and we have the page structure as well to split the columns, row splitter, column splitter, container. We have the menu bar. So as you are adding the pages, as you can see, the menu is automatically getting added. You can have your own navigation, linked list, and there are some more commerce, forms, more like teasers are ready to go as well. But this is a simple page, like where you have a simple page with the title, image, and a rich text. So there are lots of options. You can just drag and drop and ready to go. So once the page is built, so here is our pages is built, we can move to, so this is in draft mode. The workflow is similar as before. Just the visual representation is different. We can submit for review. You can enter the comment, please review. And you can submit. So it's going for QA approval. However, it's the basic workflow. You can customize your workflow as well. And you can add your version. So once the page is ready to go, when you have another version, so you can just add in more version. You can have your own name, or when you just leave it optional, it just creates as version 2. So on the version 2, if you wanted some more variants, you can
Madhu, I
add some
think
more
there is a
work.
question from Rahman.
Sorry. Oh,
Go ahead, Rahman, if you have a question. Maybe not. Yeah, go ahead. So time check almost 5:55. We need to keep moving.
cool. Is he asking a question or should I go for
No,
it?
no, yeah, keep going.
Cool. So this is how the page is ready to go, and we can add the versions, the languages over here, and it's all responsive. So as you can see, this is how it looks in tab. This is how it looks in mobile. So we don't need to worry about anything. It's all built in. So this is how you create a page, and you can see the home, about, and a demo page. This is how you add the components and submit the draft, submit the page to the workflow, and all ready to go. Cool. With this, I'm giving back to Balaji for more enhanced demo. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you, Madhu. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully able to see my screen.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so quick thing before we go further, like when we talk about the terminology, these are the ones I was talking through. So this is your environment name. It says local, but this is going to be your production dev stage or according to your deployment. And then this will be actually your project name. And in a project, you can have multiple sites. It's more like a one level up. At the organization, you can have so I can see at the organization level, I have 2 different instances, if that makes sense. Okay, so moving on to this, I'll be a little bit rushing because of the time, but stop me if you have any questions. But in the tool section, this looks familiar to you. It's all similar to your XP or XM, but with limited things, and you have a couple of new things here. One is your components. There is an Explorer. I'll not go in detail in Explorer, but I can show you quickly. This is going to be your more like your view where you can see all your sites, what workflow and what is the status, those kind of things. You can put it in a list view as well. So here you can see directly in the draft state, and you can update the content as well here. So this is one way you can look at it. The second one is components. I think I have pulled it up here, so let's go there. So when you have components, this is the view that I was talking through, where you can simply design a simple, for example, I need a carousel where I have a left side image and some text on the right. You could create that. And in this case, I just try to create a PGHSUG. When I click on that, it gets you this design template where you can move things. I want this particular thing to be here. And then I can click on this and I can say I want to add HTML block or paragraph, and then I can say I want that paragraph to be here. You see that it's simple as that, where you can stage this component, then you can publish this component. It's again asking me to authenticate. Give me one moment, but this is how you design your component. You can add multiple versions, and then eventually this component will be available to be added in the pages that Madhu was walking through. If I go back here, I go back here and you see the PGHSUG is available. I can add it to the page. You see that. So think about this is some basic stuff I've tried to put, but typically you can build a component during our training. We were able to do something like able to build this one. Basically, we were able to build this whole thing as a component on the fly. If you think in a normal day, we would, if you need something like this, it's going to be into the development team, go through the stories, and then you need to design it, and then it needs to be mobile compatible. But with this component builder, you can build something similar to this on the fly, which gives a lot more.
Does those components that you just say that component that you just build a version, does it ever make it to source control?
This one, no, it doesn't make the source control. It stays on your platform.
Gotcha. Okay.
But this this is the one they call it as a front end as a service, and then this eventually they also give you an option, a piece of JavaScript where this can be used in other places as well, not just Sitecore. It can dynamically load this thing. I did the demo, but it will take some time. But this can be used at it. You can search for FAAS front end as a service.
Are we going to get an email with the recording link?
This will be posted on YouTube, so yeah, you can check in our Pittsburgh user group YouTube channel.
Okay.
Okay, so that's about the components. So let me go back to. So we were here. So quickly, I'll give you a demo on the forms. That's something brand new that recently came up. So you can see this is the preview and then how it's going to look like. We go to the editor. Let's try to create a demo. Let's save. So it gives you an option to choose a layout, which I want to do like a full width layout. When I click on add, it gives me an option that I can say I need a text box. Can have multi-page also. And then below this, move things around. We want this one. So when you click on a submit button, then it gives you these options. The main thing to be aware of is here you have all these forms options available. It comes with reCAPTCHA as well. And some basic components are available. So it comes with a lot of limitations, not one-to-one match with what we have in XP or XM, but pretty much they have given most of the things that you would be using. And the main important thing is when you click on settings, for this particular form, you need to have a webhook manage. Like, let me show you quickly. So when you have a webhook, so in this case, I've put it as dummy, but you can choose an authentication API key or something, and then you give a name, you give an URL. So automatically, whenever a form is submitted, that data will get published to this particular webhook. So in the webhook, you can store the data in an external system or however you want to manage it. So that's totally different. Like in your XP or XM, Sitecore will manage that data. But here you need to push it out and then manage it in an external system. Once you have that webhook,
Is it a one-way webhook, Balaji? Like once we post it, that's it, or it can receive the response and see
No.
based on that? No, right? Okay.
No. So it's going to that, and then when I hit test, so you can test it also here. So this is going to be.
Do you have any conditional
false.
logic?
Sorry, what is that, Babu?
Can we have conditional logic and those things on forms?
Honestly, I did see there was a limitation on that, but
Okay.
let's take a look together. Something came on like 24th of this month or 25th. It's like a couple of days. So
Okay.
I believe conditional logic wasn't there. Might be wrong. You mean like having a drop down if you choose something like that, or?
Yeah, something and yeah.
That one was not there now. And this is an ongoing thing. So when they have new updates and immediately they're going to push it out. So we would expect those features would be coming soon. Even initially they said they did not have this multi-page view as well. But when they were initially showing demos, but eventually when it launched, it came with it.
Any validation options?
Validation should be there, basic validation. See, I don't know. I think, oh, wait. Choose a layout and do full width. Sad, and let's see, they had the, yeah, you have the email, you have the phone number, so that should come with some basic validation. Let's quickly do a preview. Okay, submit. Come on. No, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. Let me see. Yeah, you can see this. Some basic validations are there, like for phone number fields and email fields and things like that. And also, you can create templates like contact us or some certain things you can create as a template, which we used to have. And then eventually you can create forms based on that. That should
Does it
give
have,
a, yeah, go
does
ahead.
it have the functionality to send the email, or is it
No. So
should be
that's what I
handled
said,
by-
like with the webhooks, you need to deal with everything. So when it's
Okay.
pushing the data, for example, you have Azure Function app, then that function app can store the data, trigger an email from HubSpot or Sitecore Send or whatever platform you use. So that's all external. So you don't have those custom submit actions, let's put it that way. So if you want to send it to Salesforce, you can do it directly from this system.
Okay.
But if you have Connect, then Connect can be your endpoint, and from there you can send those data to different systems. I'm not saying you need Connect, but I'm saying if you have XM Cloud Plus, then probably you can utilize that to do that functionality.
Mhm.
Okay, so going back. So we did talk about the forms. The last one is settings, which is a site identifier. This is specifically used for analytics, and this is more like how long the session should stay before it gets terminated. So those kind of things, like for for site or a particular like a retail site or a car site, like we were discussing through, you can create separate ones and have different timeouts. So this is specifically for the analytics. So if you go back the sites to the pages. So go back to templates. You can create some page templates here. You have the create template option. And then if you go back to the page designs, this is again similar to your headless, where you create your page designs, and partial designs more like your, and consider like a template. Sorry, the master page kind of thing. And then click on edit. So here on the left, you can see the partial designs that have been chosen. So you have the header and footer that you can add it to this page. And this can be used as a template for most of your pages. So you go to a partial design, you have a footer. So you have these placeholders where it's header and main, and this has been put in the actual container. You can change some text. And then you can publish this. So now if you go back to your pages and refresh it. So you can see that got updated. So some basic stuff, there's nothing fancy here. So basically you have the page designs and partial designs. If you go into the personalized tab, then you can pick a particular item and then you can personalize it. So this is like a basic level personalization. At the moment it's saying like you don't have the personalized. I need to set up that settings and then come back here. So here you can assign an identifier. You can save this because this is a new site we just created. So didn't have that option enabled. So once you do that, then you get this, what is the page variant, and then you can create a PGH. Next. So here you get this personalization condition, certain things you get what region they're currently visiting that you can add. And then you're saying from North America. And then you can save this. Go back here. So for this PGH variant, you can see this icon comes up. It's not personalized, so I can say, you take this. Change to this. So this is how you do personalization. Then if you go back to the default one, change. Let's see. You are editing the default item, apply the page variants. Page variant, edit the properties of the component. Okay. So here that gives you an option so where you can edit the audience. So you got the idea, like how we are creating a page variant, and then eventually you can personalize it. And whenever it is personalized, it comes in a different color and say image is personalized.
Yep.
And moving on to the analysis. So you have a site insights, which is like a site level. And then you can see that it gives you only 30 days of data. So you'll not like this is a new site, so it's throwing error. But it will give only 30 days data. This is like a site level, which gives your visitor average time, bounce rate, and a lot of other things. And here you see the visits by the time. What are the top pages, top countries? What is the first page? Source where they're coming from. Are they coming from Google search or directly coming to the site? What type of browser, operating system? This is a demo site. So sorry, I don't have all these data available. If we go into the page insights, you can look the same data at a specific page level. And also it gives you an option where if you had page variants, then you can look into different variants, like what variant had how many page visits, and all the data is available as well.
So XM Cloud supports Google Analytics, Balaji?
Google Analytics is not directly supported. So this analytics is directly on
XM Cloud.
XM Cloud.
Yeah.
But if you need Google Analytics, I would say you would be putting it at the head, like your Next.js app or something. And then obviously that can push the data directly to your GA or any other platform that you're using.
Okay.
Not at the XM Cloud level, no. Okay, I think time check, I think that brings us to the end. Happy to talk through any other questions if we had. And one last thing I want to show is if you go here to the site, you get the settings, and then you have the site identifier. I don't want to show this, but you can see the Next.js, sorry, next CDP target, which is your edge and edge key. And the JSS app should match this, and then point details and everything is available. So if you need an API key, you can generate that as well. Anyway, the site will be deleted, so I'm fine with that.
So Balaji, once we create a site, then hosting it in Netlify or Vercel, is it taken care by Sitecore, or we need to go
We need to manage
host
that.
it? We need to manage it, though
Yes.
it's a SaaS. Okay. Okay. So can you just create one page and publish and show how in Edge it shows? I think the time is not there.
Time is
Yeah.
not there, but like I
Yeah,
showed before,
Yeah.
you will not be able to see the page directly on Edge because I don't have a head running at the moment. But the
Okay.
idea behind this, the API endpoints that I showed you would be giving you the layout response, what you would get on a headless system.
Okay.
A JSON response basically with all your content data, how it's being laid out with all your layout response. That is similar to you using an headless in your XM or XP. Nothing new there.
Okay.
In our case, typically you would be pinging your CD to get the data. Here you are just asking your Edge API to get the data. That's the difference.
Okay.
Okay, I think some chat. Let's see if there is any questions there. I think we did talk about Vercel and Netlify. How to assign your custom domains? Because your domains are all like
Yeah,
from
I got you.
head. Yeah, Venkat.
Yeah, I got you. You showed the endpoints details, right? So it makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything? You're happy to talk through.
So what about the XM Cloud Plus? You will host any new meeting for that, or?
We don't, honestly, I don't have access to, and we were lucky enough
Okay.
to like see my company has this instance and we were able to give this, and that's going to be an expense. It's going to be
Okay.
expensive to have that environment.
Oh,
So basically
okay.
you can get an idea that when you get XM Cloud Plus, you would also have access to their search platform. It's all not integrated into XM Cloud. Rather, you will go, for example, I want to do personalization advanced, then you would go into the personalized platform and you will do the personalization directly there. It's not more like a seamless, everything is integrated into this platform. But when you're looking into analytics, that could be there, like integration is there, but which will show more than 30 days of data.
Okay.
So
If I understood correctly, the XM Cloud will support for the content authors, especially. Yeah, and also this will be generate the static pages in the CDN, Sitecore CDN, and then that will be published into Vercel or Netlify.
So let me put it this way. Okay, the first part is
architecture
good.
perspective.
The second part is like when you're publishing, it's not going to generate the static pages. Rather, it's going to take a snapshot of your JSON data. That data lives in your edge.
Okay.
And then when you're hosting something in Netlify and Vercel, they're going to take that JSON data and they will generate the static pages. And those static pages will live on Netlify or Vercel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If you go for the SSG, if you're doing SSR, then obviously every time your Netlify or Vercel would talk to Edge, get the data, and then render the pages.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that's
Thank you so
pretty
much,
good.
Balaji and Madhu. Yeah.
Pretty good interactive session. Thank you for asking all the questions. Hope this is useful, gives you an insight on the XM Cloud Basics 101. Further, like if you want to learn more, a lot of learning material is available on sitecore.com. Feel free to check that.